All right, let's get into one of the most baffling cases of the last decade. It was April 18, 2016, in the small town of Midlothian, Texas. A fitness instructor, Missy Bevers, was brutally murdered inside a church. Now here's the twist. The killer was actually captured on surveillance video, decked out head to toe in tactical gear. And yet, all these years later, the case is completely cold. It's a chilling mystery that all hinges on one single, ghostly piece of footage.
You know, that's a quote from a forensic expert who actually got to see unreleased video from the scene. And it just captures the whole haunting reality of this case, doesn't it? We can literally see the predator stalking the halls, we know the terrible outcome, but the actual identity of the person inside that gear, it remains a total and complete blank.
So, to really understand this whole mystery, we have to go back to that Monday morning at the Creekside Church of Christ.
So Missy was this really beloved trainer for a fitness program called Camp Gladiator. And get this, she had posted on Facebook the night before, "If it's raining, we're still training." She was moving her class indoors because of bad weather, a decision that turned out to be fateful, putting her on a direct collision course with her killer.
Now this is where things get really eerie when you see how the timelines converge. For a full 30 minutes, the suspect is just wandering the halls, opening doors, carrying a hammer. Then, at 4:20 a.m., Missy shows up, completely unaware that she's walking right into a trap. By the time her students start showing up for that 5 a.m. class, it's already over. The scene was just horrific, and the only thing police had to work with was that video. But it didn't show a face, it didn't show a clear body type, or even give a clue about gender. It just showed a ghost.
So let's take a closer look at that video, because this one piece of evidence has somehow managed to both define and completely baffle the entire investigation.
Okay, so this is what investigators were able to pull from that footage. The gear itself, which had the word police on it, seems like it was designed to look official, but experts are pretty sure it was fake. The most analyzed feature by far, though, was the suspect's walk, this really distinctive gait that became the central point of almost all the speculation.
And because of that really unusual walk, the FBI brought in experts in something called gait analysis. The hope, of course, was that the way the suspect moved could somehow offer a clue to who they were.
But here is where it all gets incredibly complicated. A forensic podiatrist named Dr. Michael Nirenberg, who consulted on the case, made it crystal clear that while, the suspect has a noticeable out-toed walk, especially with their right foot, that alone doesn't identify them. And more importantly, it absolutely cannot determine their gender.
So here's the crucial takeaway. All those online theories you might have seen saying the feminine sway of the walk proves the killer was a woman, well, they're based on a total misconception. An actual expert in the field calls making that kind of conclusion a dangerous thing to do.
While the public was obsessing over the video, law enforcement was launching this absolutely massive multi-agency investigation.
Get a load of this number. That's how many tips the Midlothian Police Department has gotten over the last 8 years. I mean, that is just a staggering amount of information for a small-town police force to have to sift through. But, quantity doesn't always equal quality. As the chief himself pointed out, a lot of these tips were based on pure speculation, not actual facts, which just bogged down the investigators who were trying to find a real solid lead.
And this slide really shows you how seriously this case was taken. The local police were joined by state and federal partners, bringing in all kinds of expertise in forensics, technology, data analysis, you name it. Pretty much every available resource was thrown at this. But as the official investigation was struggling to find traction, an unofficial and frankly far more chaotic one was just exploding online. And this is where the story takes a very modern and a very dark turn.
What started as a real desire to help quickly spiraled into this digital vigilantism. You had people with absolutely no training treating this case like it was a game of Clue, pointing fingers and spreading accusations with little, if any, evidence.
And it became this predictable, destructive pattern. Online groups would single someone out, a lot of times a family member or just an acquaintance, and then they would just systematically tear that person's life apart, posting their address, running background checks, and bombarding them and their family with threats.
And this slide. This really shows the real human cost of all that. Missy's father-in-law, Randy, happened to drop off a shirt with some dog's blood on it at the cleaners because one of their pets got injured. The online mob immediately declared him the killer. Then there was an acquaintance, April Sandoval, who got targeted just because she once took a photo with Missy and her mom happened to own a car similar to one seen near the church. She was harassed relentlessly and had to be officially cleared by the police.
You can just feel the frustration from law enforcement in this quote. Every single time the police followed up on a lead or talked to someone, the internet mob would declare that person guilty, which not only hampered the investigation, but also just destroyed innocent people's lives in the process.
So, after all the tips, the federal agents, and the absolute chaos online, where does this case actually stand today? And that's really the heart of it all. We have more visual evidence of this killer than we do for countless other murders. But that evidence has led absolutely nowhere. The gear, the gate, the hammer, it's all just a mask that, so far, has never been removed.
The Midlothian police, for their part, have not given up. The case is still active. They've even assigned an investigator specifically to comb through internet leads, and they're constantly applying new technology to the old evidence, just hoping for some kind of breakthrough. And that reward for information leading to an arrest, it's still out there. And that's the question that makes this case so profoundly unsettling, isn't it? That video promised answers, but all it's really delivered are more questions. It shows a killer in plain sight, hidden behind a costume and a strange walk, who committed this terrible crime and then just walked away, leaving a family, a community, and a whole nation of online sleuths asking the same question: who are you?